Hey all, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So we will wait for 5 minutes, then we'll start. Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Yeah. Hey, all. Good morning. So, so this is what the content that we are going to cover, right? This already we discussed. We will discuss Spring Core framework, which means the complete Spring earlier framework than the Spring Boot and Spring Boot microservices. As part of Spring framework, we discuss Spring Core, JDBC, ORM, AOP, transaction security, and MVC. Apart from this seven, before Spring ORM, we will have few Hibernate sessions also. I'll cover Hibernate also here. I'll show you how to do CRUD operations in Hibernate, how to do mappings. That portion we will discuss in two sessions before war, so that whoever joins this session, they will get complement Hibernate discussions also here. We will discuss Hibernate framework also as a complement. Okay. So as part of Spring framework, we discuss all the seven modules plus Hibernate. And as part of Spring Boot, there are many topics. We didn't mention everything here. And we discuss about microservices as well, along with the live project deployment in multiple cloud environments like AWS, Azure, or if you want to deploy it in local also, I'll show you how to deploy it in local and publish it in a public environment. Okay, so that you will get that knowledge as well. So the prerequisites, as I said, you need basic Java knowledge. That would be enough. And the tools that you need is JDK you need to install, and any database software you need to install, and any IDE like Eclipse STS. Install both in your machine. Okay. Yeah. So this is the content that we are going to cover. And as I discussed in the earlier sessions, we can able to build web applications using Spring MVC. Okay. So in Spring, generally what we do, all the modules and the views together we code and we deploy it as a WAR file into any external Tomcat or any application server like WebLogic. Basically, web server would be enough. Application servers not at all required to run Spring applications until unless you have that application server dependencies. And when it comes to Spring Boot, when you code your Spring Boot application into a single application, all your modules, you can deploy it as a jar file directly into Java runtime environment. Just Java installation if you have in your machine, that would be enough to code in Spring Boot. Spring Boot is pretty simple framework to build application in a rapid speed, and there we don't have much dependencies. We don't have much environment dependencies. Directly you can code your application and deploy it. And using Spring Boot, you can divide your modules into multiple services. Each module has a separate service, and you can deploy it into separate environment. Okay, you can deploy it into separate environments. We call it as microservice. We call each as a microservice. Okay, so we develop each module as a separate application, and views also as a separate application, and finally we integrate all together using API gateway and Eureka. There are multiple other services that we use between, and we add security, logging, transactions, many on top of the implementation we do. And there are multiple design patterns that we need to understand when we move towards microservices. That also we discuss. Okay. As I said, we will develop a live application and deploy it into we will deploy it into any cloud, and we can see how to manage. Okay. So this is the content we planned, and we follow MVC architecture. We follow MVC architecture for implementing any application, whether it is a Spring application or Spring Boot or microservices application. We follow this pattern. Okay. So as per MVC, we need to maintain views separately. We need to maintain views separately. Why we need to do these many separate layers? Because of clear logic separation and reusability purpose only. Okay, so that reusability can be achieved, and as we have clear logic separation, we can able to achieve inversion of controlling also. We will discuss about that later. Okay, yeah. So here the views we maintain separately. All our considered there is a product JSPI created, so you need to maintain all the product related add, update, delete views code here, and the required controller to read your data in case of add or update or delete, and validate to your data, and to make check the security whether this user is having the security access or not. All that operations we validate through controller. Controller is responsible for reading data, for validating it, and for achieving security. Once done with that, controller will forward data to service layer for doing business operations, or business logic will be executed here. From service to data we will forward to DAO. DAO will take care of CRUD operations. If any save, update, delete operations you want to do on database through DAO, we do that CRUD operations. Now, as we thought to start with Spring Framework, as we thought to start with the Spring Framework, okay. So where these modules will fit, in our MVC architecture, okay. So the last two module, MVC and security, we basically use as part of controller layer. The security MVC we use as part of controller layer, and AOP transactions we use as part of service layer, and JDBC ORM we use as part of DAO layer. Okay, so the six modules we will use in our MVC implementations. And what about core? What about core? Core we use across all the modules. Core is having some beautiful features. One of its great feature is it has its own self containers to run all your classes. When you implement, consider here you implemented some 10 JSP pages and 10 controllers, 10 services, 10 DO classes. All your classes, backend side, right? All your 30 classes, objects creation, lifecycle management, integration between those objects, and many more. All that stuff is going to manage by your core only. So core is having IOC containers. So your IOC containers are going to create objects and manage objects. Many things they do. Okay. So IOC containers are having, your Spring Core is having IOC containers. Apart from that, your Spring Core is responsible for configuration and integration. Configuration and integration also we do through Spring Core module only. So this is the important module that we need to understand first to use all other remaining modules. So once we done with this, we use the same in Spring Boot environment also. Spring Boot is some kind of lightweight, easy framework. That's a easy one. So we can achieve all this using simple annotations with less configurations, with less integrations also. Okay, we need not to do much integrations, much configurations there. Spring Boot will take care of everything. Just we need to focus on our business logic only. Just we need to focus on, if you have front end pages, you need to design your pages, and you just need to write your controller business logic, and DO is also not required completely. DO implementation Spring Boot will provide, so you need not to worry about CRUD operations also. Spring Boot is pretty easy framework. Okay, so this is how basically Spring we use for implementing our application. This is how we use Spring. Okay, so finally, as I said, right, finally when you implement your Spring application as a WAR file, you definitely need to deploy it into a Tomcat. So as I said here, we have our own self containers to run all our classes. We have our own containers. So why we need a separate server means to interact with web, right? When we deploy application into a web, when somebody load this page and when somebody hits the request, to read that request and to send that request and response objects to us between views and our backend code, right? We need this Tomcat. So this Tomcat will helpful to call core containers. So when we deploy your application as a var file into Tomcat will initialize one servlet class name called dispatcher servlet. this dispatcher servlet will trigger your IOC container. Then your IOC container will create all your application objects. So your application will be managed by Spring only, not by other containers. Your application will be managed by Spring containers only. So this is the first topic we start with. This is the first topic we are going to start with, an important one. Okay, we need more focus on this module than the other modules. Other modules are simple. Spring core also easy, but you need to learn this first. This is the important module that we need to focus first. Okay. So as part of Spring Core, as I said, we will understand about containers. Then we understand about how to do configurations and integrations. Okay, there are many features as part of Spring Core that we discuss. Okay, there are many features that we are going to discuss. What are they? Okay, Spring Core. As part of Spring Core, as I said, first we need to understand it has self containers, right? We need to understand how to use them. Okay, the first thing, how to use containers, how to use Spring containers, Spring event containers, how to use them. Okay, how to use Spring containers and how to configure, how to configure, how to configure your MVC classes, how to configure MVC classes. We generally call them POJOs. We generally call them POJOs. Okay, POJOs because the style we implement is like a POJO style implementation only. As a plain Java class we implement. We don't complicate our classes. As a simple plain Java classes only we implement. We see how to use Spring containers and how to configure your MVC classes, which means your POJO classes. Finally, we are going to implement our application as a MVC application only. So we should understand how to configure all that classes, right? How to configure all that classes using Spring core module. How to configure them we should see, and how to manage them, how to configure and how to manage all your MVC classes. How to manage in the sense how many objects we need to create, is it should be singleton or prototype or life cycles we can manage there. So life cycles also we can achieve. There are many features. I don't go in depth as of now. Okay, how to configure, and there is a dependency injection also. How to integrate, how to integrate, how to integrate your MVC classes. We call it as dependency injection. We call it as we call it as dependency injection. We see that as well. Okay, so using Spring Core we are going to discuss all this stuff. Okay, how to use Spring containers, how to configure MVC classes, how to manage your MVC lifecycle, and how to integrate each class into another by using dependency injection. Okay, so these all are the great features that we are going to discuss as part of Spring Core. Actually we have many topics. Okay, you can see all the topics here. So these all are the Spring Core topics only. We see how to use core container, how to use J2EE container, how to do setter based dependency injection when you want to do dependency, I mean integration using setter, using constructor, And in constructor also various problems we have how to achieve it by using index and by using type. And if you have objects as a integration, how to do integration using objects, how to use multiple XML files. These all are the contents that we are going to discuss as part of Spring Core. There is a auto wiring feature, many features. See, internationalization up to here. Okay, up to here there are 38 plus topics we are going to discuss. 38 plus topics we are going to discuss as part of Spring Core. Okay, these all are the important topics. All these 38 topics we cover as part of Spring Core only. Okay, as part of Spring Core only, I'm going to cover all these topics. Okay, let me copy for your reference. Okay, so these all are the topics that we are going to discuss. So apart from this, we discuss first about there are two flavors of containers. One is our core container and one is J2EE container. We see about core container first and we see about J2EE container. What is the difference between both? How core container works, how J2EE container works. We discuss that as well. So these all are the topics that we are going to cover as part of Spring Core. Oh, 111 copied. Fine. Many features we have. Yeah. So there are many features that we discuss each one by one. Okay, and all are simple to understand. Okay, the easy topics how to use the containers. If you can come across all these topics, right, you'll become you'll become expert in Spring. You can able to do anything. You can able to design your own custom design patterns. You can able to follow any style of Spring. There are multiple styles in Spring like programmatic approach, XML way, annotations way. So you can able to do or you can able to use any approach when you start with any application or when you visit any existing application. You comfortably you can able to deal with that application. Okay, so that's the reason we are going to cover all these topics here. Okay, we'll discuss about containers, dependency injections, how to deal with multiple files, and there are various types of dependencies, arrays, collections, and if you want to make something is mandatory in integration, dependency checkings, and if you want to do auto wiring, automatic way of integration, Spring will take care. So there is a auto wiring topic, auto wiring using annotations we have, and bean life cycles we discuss in three ways, and there are some design patterns we discuss about singleton and factory. Okay, Spring given beautiful design patterns also we discuss about them. And when you have properties as a dependencies, how to inject them like driver properties if you want to use in your application. And there are some namespace examples we covered. Spring internationalization support we have if you want to support your application in multiple languages. We have I89 support, and Spring is providing expression language support. We discuss about that expressions as well. and how to do event handling, how to use. There are many methods, replacers, lookup method, aware interfaces. Okay, we almost discuss everything from Spring Core. Okay, this is what we are going to start with first. Okay, from next session. Okay, from Monday, right? We will start with Spring containers and the dependency injections. Okay, regular session will start from Monday. Okay, so please share your email IDs and try to get the regular link by Monday session. Okay, what I'll share is daily I'll share the examples. I mean, I need not to share. You can go to this link and download. So this is our blog only. The same examples we discussed. So you can get the downloads on daily basis. Whatever I discussed, right? All the jar files, everything will be updated here, and our materials also will be available. And a regular video session also you will get through Google Drive. So this is how they will share it with you. Let me show you. You will receive a Drive link. Okay. On regular basis, you will get the videos into your Drive. Okay. Once you confirm, right, you will get all the videos on regular basis. They will share each video, whatever we discussed in the session. Okay. Not previously recorded. Our session recordings only you will get. And this demo videos will be available publicly through YouTube, and the remaining regular sessions from tomorrow, from Monday, right, will be available through your Drive only. Once you share your email ID, right, Durgasoft will share it with you. Okay, through Drive. Okay, any questions? So we are going to cover huge content here. I need your cooperation, like 35 to 40 sessions we need here. But I'll make sure that all 100% whoever attends, right, they'll become expert in Spring. And not only development, you will get the knowledge how to do the deployments as well. The end-to-end deployment lifecycle also I'll show you. How to purchase URL like in GoDaddy, and how to integrate with your services, how to bring your application into live. Okay, so yeah, that is what I am planning out of this session. Okay, you guys can speak if you have any doubts. The regular session will start from Monday.
Sir, what is Docker, and is there any a requirement for us as a developer? Do we need Docker here?
No, no. Basically, once done with the development, basically the problem with microservices, right? When
Okay.
we implement each module as a separate service, and when we do the changes, right? When we do the changes into
Yes.
multiple modules, deployment will become difficult every time. So that they automate by using the Jenkins tools, and by creating Docker images, multiple images, they will keep it into the live. So for doing the deployment lifecycle, uh, I mean to automate that, like when you want to push it to your production, right, or from development to SIT to UAT, UAT to pre-prod or prod, everything they automated and given through Jenkins. Just we need to call trigger files. That's it. that automatically will take care of building and deployment. Okay. So basically,
Okay.
that setup will be done by DevOps teams. One time setup they do, and they will provide us the trigger files where you need to trigger it when you want to deploy it really. Okay. So I'll show you
Okay.
one using Jenkins how to, I mean using Git how to do that.
Okay.
Okay. But I
So
mean,
as a developer, we don't need, right, that
yeah.
Docker.
You will have very less focus on that.
Okay, sir.
Basically,
Thank you.
if you are a lead or a kind of you are going to manage the complete application, right? They'll provide you some files as well to add new users if new developer adds to your application, right? To provide him access to trigger the files. Up to there, they will provide us access. Okay.
Okay.
The remaining setup, everything will take care by other production teams.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, this time will be a little late or it is same only?
We will change the times later part. For now, we will continue with the same time. Later, we can shift to half an hour before or half an hour earlier. It depends on others, opinion. We will take everybody's input and we shift it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you will teach this Jenkins deployment also, or like you will show one project is Jenkins how we deploy to
Yeah, I will show that.
cloud.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. How generally it works, I'll explain you the complete architecture and the same style of deployment we have through Git also. There I'll show you how it works by creating multiple environments. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's a different stuff. We need less focus on that area. Okay. In case if we have that dependency, we need to learn all the DevOps tools. That's a different, content. But as a developer, we need very less focus on that area. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, Java microservices and Spring Boot microservices both are same, sir, or else different?
Java microservices in the sense using other
Mm,
frameworks.
Means recently I have allocated to one project, sir. They have given me
Hmm.
that you are allocated to Java microservices. So I
Yeah,
am asking, sir.
Java microservices in the sense Spring Boot microservices only. Okay,
Yeah. Okay, sir.
we don't
Yeah.
have much
Thank you.
support from other like your Java or other REST providers. We don't have this much great support. Okay, if they choose something
Okay,
else,
sir.
then they need to spend more time there. If you go with Spring Boot, right, in a fingertips we can able to build services. If you have considered two three use cases like two, three APIs you need to implement. Maybe in a day or 2 days you can implement it if it is a Spring Boot. Environment creation and the port configuration and the remaining like Eureka or API gateways configurations, these are everything given as a inbuilt in Spring Boot. Okay, very less configurations we need to do there. So it's easy to use Spring for microservices. Okay,
Okay, sir.
yeah, yeah. I would request you to confirm by Monday, okay, and get the regular link. Then we will start with the examples, okay. We because we have huge content, so we need to start. So just be ready by Monday. We start with Spring Core module. Okay. Don't worry about looking content. Those are very simple. I divided into separate topics for each variant or version. I created that many. but otherwise learning that stuff is very simple. Okay. So you can reach out to me if you have any doubts or any issues regarding the session. I shared my contact. Okay, you can see my number. So this is my number. You can note down and you can reach out to me, or you can text anything in WhatsApp. Okay, are we guys fine? Yeah. So that's all for today, guys. We'll catch up on Monday session. We will have only weekday sessions. Okay. So just 40 sessions, 35 to 40 sessions. I need your cooperation. Every day you will get the recording through Drive. Okay. Even if you miss the session, you need not to worry. You will get that link in a Drive so that you can watch video there and you can download the examples and materials from our link itself.
Yeah.
And
Sir, Saturday and Sunday holiday, sir.
yes, Saturday, Sunday holiday.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So you can completely spend Saturday, Sunday for practicals. And you can reach out to me even during Saturday, Sundays if you need any support also. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks all. We'll meet on Monday session. Okay. Please get confirmed by that session. Okay. As we have used content, we will start with it. Yeah. Thank you all. Have a great day and happy weekend. Yeah. Thanks all.